This session will be mainly focusing on creating a miscellaneous transaction, specifically a miscellaneous receipt. The navigation to access a miscellaneous transaction is transaction, miscellaneous transaction. So let's navigate to transactions. Here we can find miscellaneous transaction. So we are going to use this frequently, so let's add it to the right hand side to the top 10 list. Then it's been already added to the top 10 list, so press number 6. In this session we are going to create 100 quantities of a specific item. So the item that we have created in the previous tutorial is RSR product 1. So we will create 100 quantity of that item and add it to a sub-inventory. The miscellaneous transaction window for the organization will consist of 4 fields: a date, type, source, and an account. The date will be auto-filled by the system. For the type of transaction, there is a lot of transaction type available. If you press Ctrl L when you are in the type field, Ctrl plus L, it will give you the list of transaction type. So let's press I, press OK. It will give you miscellaneous issue receipt. In this section we are going to select miscellaneous receipt. We are going to receive items into the sub inventory. We are going to receive 100 quantities of item. To receive 100 items into the sub inventory, for the adjustment purpose of the initial adjustment purpose of the sub inventory, we are going to select miscellaneous receipt. A miscellaneous transaction is generally done to adjust the quantities in a sub inventory initially. It is done for initial adjustment only. So in the source section we can add the details about the transaction, the reason for the transaction. Our reason is we need to add 100 quantities into the sub inventory in order to perform some transactions. So that's our reason. Now the account number selected, we have selected the transaction type as miscellaneous receipt, so we have to input an account number where we can receive the items into. So the account number for this illustration purpose is, so this account number is generally given by the finance department. Okay, the inventory management professionals will get this account number from the finance department of the company. So these account numbers are managed by finance department. Now we'll go to transaction lines. This is the organization 809 RSR3. We have already added an item to this organization, that is RSR product 1. So let's find that. Type in RSR and this tab. See, the item name has already been populated over there. So let's find a sub inventory to transfer this item into. So there are 3 sub inventories over here. Let's transfer 100 item onto sub inventory 1. Let's transfer 100 items over here. Account number has been populated already. So we have a location for our sub inventory organization, it is C Malo. So let's see whether it is available or not. Yeah, it's available. Select that. Reason for the transaction. All these things are optional, but there is a lot of reason available here. Any reason can be selected. You can select any of the reason from this drop down window over here. For this example purpose, we are going to delete that reason over here, and let's move on to reference. You can put any reference over here. For the reference purposes, we are saying final, no, it's first let's say first addition of items into sub inventory. So that's our reason over here. Now let's press the down arrow. It will automatically go into the next line. If we want to enter the same info on the previous line to the next one over here, either we can type it in manually, or what we can do is go to this line and press Shift F5. When I press Shift F5, it will automatically copy or duplicate the value above it to the current field. So let's see if this works on sub inventory. Let's press Shift F5. Yeah, it did. Now we don't want to add new 100 quantities to sub inventory 1. We have already done that here. So we want to add, let's say, a 75 objects items to sub inventory 2, and let's select sub inventory 2 over here. The unit of measurement is already selected. Now let's add 75 to that. Now the location we have selected CMA. Okay, now that's selected. Reason, we'll select second addition. Let's go to the next line using down arrow. Now select the product, RSR percentage, press a tab, it will fill up automatically. Now we want to transfer to sub inventory 3. Let's select it as 68 quantities. Select the same location by Shift F5. Now let's say third addition. Now after these 3 lines have been added here, you can save the changes by pressing Ctrl S. Now it says at the bottom, transaction complete, 3 records applied and saved. Now you can close this form by Ctrl F4. Next thing we have to make sure is that whether these items have been added into the sub inventories. Now what we can do is we need to know how many items are available in our organization. You can go to on hand availability, on hand quantity. If you go to on hand availability, on hand quantity, we can query it by item. Let's say RSR percentage and press a tab. Now RSR product 1 has automatically filled up there. Now let's find. Now it gives us a hierarchical view of items and organization over here. Let's drop this plus sign over here and see. Now on hand. Now let's press on hand over here. Here we can see all the statuses of each sub inventory and the items inside it. So press on availability. See, I have selected RSR sub inventory 3 and it says total primary quantity is 68. That's right, we have transacted 68. We have received 68 quantities into the sub inventory. We have received RSR product 1's 68 quantities into RSR sub inventory 3. So it's really shown here. So total quantity is 68, available to reserve and available to transact is 68. Now let's check whether there are 100 quantities in sub inventory 1. Let's press on availability. See, there are 100 quantities available to transact, and total quantities, everything is shown over here. We have transferred 75 items into sub inventory 2, so that has been updated over there.